Motherfucking quarter. Okay, I don't know if no people see me.
Okay, I'm taking off my socks.
Alright.
It doesn't matter. Kevin's taking off his socks.
Kevin's taking off his socks.
Alright, so this is the first interview / non-interview because we're just talking. But I also have questions, so that does make it an interview, if that makes any sense. It's gonna go on my blog. It's called How to Be in a Band, plus other shit, because just talking and things. And yeah, I'm here with. It's weird looking at a camera. Hello, camera.
Yeah, it is weird.
We'll just look at each other. It's
Yes.
more exciting.
Yeah, make it normal.
Mario Da Silva, Kevin Dennison, of the band 1950 Wan.
1950 Wayne.
1951. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so I guess we'll start off. What are we gonna talk about? We live together.
Yes.
That happens.
That's pretty crazy.
We all moved here from. Well, Mario's in Narnia, and then
Yeah.
Mike, Dan, and I lived in Cambridge.
Yeah.
But we were all rehearsing in Cambridge at one point, and we all decided to move into a house together in Toronto.
Let's back up even
The
further
Mouse
than that.
House.
The Mouse
The
House
Mouse House.
/ 1951 House. Anyway, so back up even more.
Yeah,
And-
let's talk about how we formed the band, because as this blog is called How to Be in a Band.
Yes.
Let's talk about how it started.
So
Well,
I know.
if I can go first.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
My first step, I remember texting Dan and
Yeah.
saying I have some songs that I need help finishing. And he said that he was doing stuff with you kind of at that time.
Were you doing stuff with Dan?
Yeah, that's the thing. He knew I was like starting to play guitar a lot more, and he at that point too. He wasn't showing people he wasn't able to sing in front of a lot of people very comfortably, but he was an amazing songwriter, and he was just. I'm sure he was just very excited to finally show people what he was writing, and he felt really comfortable around me, singing around me. And
Right.
that's the
Because you guys are friends.
Yeah, of course. And that's the thing, he was just at that point in the game, he was very comfortable just showing me his songs, singing them to me, and he knew he was going to get good critique in the end, because, I knew how to, I generally know.
Right. You've been working at writing songs and playing music for a little bit, so.
So he was working with me a little bit at the time, and that's the thing, it was around New Year's. Around that time, when Mario initially did text Dan, just hey, I have a couple songs, I need help finishing them.
Yeah.
And he looked towards Dan. And then
we had a New Year's party.
And then it was New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And Dan and I were living together at the time at another place in Toronto. And we were having a party, and we just so happened to have Mario at it, and then also you. And
I think that night we asked for you to be the drummer of the band, right?
Yeah, because Mario was on board, and I was stoked for the idea, and it was just a matter of getting you on the project.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Dan was definitely the one to approach you about it, just because of your long history with him just being in music together. So, yeah, that was kind of the catalyst was definitely Mario texting Dan, and that's how it happened.
It came about pretty naturally, which is...
And quickly.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen often, I don't think.
No.
I mean, the whole process of this thing is going to be talking to bands and seeing their situation and seeing what happens. I feel like our situation was... I don't want to say special because that sounds corny, but it was kind of, you know what I mean? It just came together so easily.
Very fluidly.
Yeah, very fluidly for sure. I remember when Dan came to me and asked me to be the drummer. It's interesting. I was hesitant at first because I had made a decision before that I was I'm gonna do music on my own. I don't want to be in these bands anymore. It's too hard to do shit.
Yeah.
But it was too hard to pass up.
You missed playing with other people in the end.
Yeah, that was really a big thing for me. It was when I started playing on my own as a solo artist, it was I had to go to shows on my own, unpack all my gear by myself, and then if I don't know any of the bands, I'm just kind of sitting there, I'm trying to make friends, it's awkward. I went to a house party one time with a bunch of young kids, and I was gonna play, but no one fucking knew me.
Yeah.
it was awkward. It was awkward as shit. So that's here we are now. We're living together.
Yeah.
So that's special. Let's talk about that a little bit. Were you guys scared about living together?
No,
I wasn't scared.
In all honesty, I think I remember telling people that I was moving in with my bandmates,
Yeah.
and a lot of people, had the expression like, "Whoa, really?"
Yeah.
But my logic behind it almost was that like if you can't live together, then you won't be able to tour together.
True.
And so far, we've lived together for a few months, and we
So
haven't
close.
ripped each other's heads off yet.
No.
We haven't even really gotten any scuffles.
No, I think it's going pretty well.
I think at the end, like more, we just hugged each other more.
It's been a lot of love making. more than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, but I wasn't scared at all. Just because I generally knew you guys, and I've lived with so many different people that I've dealt with
Way worse.
the worst
Oh, yeah.
of things.
Well, that's the thing, right? That's why I asked if you guys were scared at all, because we know from past experiences that
Yeah.
living with people can go wrongly.
Yeah.
very wrong for sure. Yeah,
And you don't
definitely
always get
happens.
along. Being friends with someone and living with someone are very different
Yeah.
things.
I've definitely heard stories where best friends move in, then they're not best friends after that lease is done.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard of that situation before.
And couples.
Couples.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, so to answer your question, like I wasn't scared. I thought it was, I remember it being very hard to find a place in Toronto.
Yeah, that was fucking.
That was interesting. But yeah.
That was exciting.
I was scared.
Yeah.
No, it's turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
If someone asked like, should I move in with my band? I'd probably go, yeah, you should do it. Because
Yeah.
it could make the band, but it could.
You should probably listen to the band first and hear what their music's like.
Limp Bizkit cover band. Don't move in with each other. Your place is gonna be a wreck.
I don't think it works for every band.
But it's really interesting because, like I said earlier, when I did tell people I was moving in with my bandmates, some people did say, whoa, like really? But then some individuals were like, oh, I've always wanted to do that. Right? So,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
definitely two sides of the coin there. And with our side of the coin, I think it was just, I was very excited for it to happen. And well, it happened, so, yeah. So,
There are definitely some great benefits. I love when I happen to be writing something and something feels good and just being able to go to whoever's nearest and
show them.
them.
That's probably the coolest thing
yeah.
that I found so far. I kind of, in my head, I had this like magical world where we're all going to be writing songs together and singing every single night, but that just doesn't happen because everyone has their own lives and.
Everybody, I feel like everybody has a different method of writing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like his buddy Mario came in my room last night and I had the lights off and I had my amp just like blaring and he's like, Kevin, are you in there? And he knocked on the door, right? And then I initially heard him, so I stopped playing guitar and then he opened the door and like my lights were completely off and he was just like
Playing
blue
guitar.
lights
Yeah,
everywhere.
he's just playing with these like blue atmospheric
He's
lights.
like, why are the lights off? And I was like, it's so inspirational. And I was just like, I just, that's the thing. For me, co-writing and maybe in the traditional sense is not very, maybe it's not very easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
But for myself, that's the thing, like if I could just get into a room by myself and have my guitar, have my pedals usually, I can write on acoustic. Majority of the material actually that I write is on acoustic, but that's the thing, like for myself, it's usually in my own realm and just doing my own thing.
Yeah.
But this, whenever I do write with people, I find my strongest outfit is actually just playing over top of what they're doing, like playing different chord inversions, things like that. And it always, those types of sounds always inspire the song to move in a certain direction. Because that's the thing, I've written with Mario before, and I didn't necessarily contribute to the lyrics that much, but I was definitely able to say like, let's go to the chorus now, let's do this.
And that's
the
so
structure
important.
and
Yeah,
too,
so that's the thing. Just co-writing for myself, it's definitely not in the traditional sense, but I do, I bring my own traits.
Well, we all kind of write on our own,
Yeah.
But then when it comes to the point where like you're stuck, that's when it like is awesome. Because
Yeah.
you can go like, okay,
How
this
do
is
I
what I've
finish
had.
this thing?
I've been in this flow state where I'm like writing all these parts and I have this thing happening here, but now I need someone to like from the outside perspective like come in and piece it all together for me.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone else does, and that's where we just kind of like throw in what we got, throw in our tools, and hope that something cool comes out.
If I hadn't joined this band, I'd just have 30 half songs.
Yeah, no, me too. It's definitely helped me like learn how to write fully developed songs.
And it's really interesting too because we don't have 30 like half songs. We have 30 full songs, like almost ready to go. Like that, not necessarily 30, but we
Right.
have so many full songs ready to go. That's beyond what we're recording right now. So instead of having 30 half songs, we have a bunch of full songs that we can't wait to tackle together.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, being all songwriters is interesting. I've always written in bands, been in bands like that. Like I've been in a couple bands where like there's one primary songwriter and I kind of contribute to the songwriting in the sense where I'm just like adding drums, which
Right.
can very greatly change a song.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're actually contributing like lyrical ideas and like making
Progressions.
opinions on progressions and things like that, it gets tricky too. Though. I mean, it's awesome, but there's also a difficult side for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Where like I think you get better at, just as you get better at songwriting, you do get better at writing with people too.
Yeah.
Like
I definitely see that, and it's more of like communicating your ideas.
Mhm.
I always find that was a very hard struggle whenever I was writing
Yeah,
with
totally,
people,
totally.
because some individuals, not to name anybody in particular, but just like play the beat like this.
Yeah.
It's like my drums don't sound like that, but just,
we all know who you're talking about.
but no, what I'm trying to say is that that's definitely something that develops when you do start writing with people, is using certain words and trying to get certain ideas across so that they can understand where you want to take the song.
Mhm.
That's just how I see things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like
I always find that's like very hard.
Just
to
being
say,
able-
like, no, like I want it to sound like this. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one,
yeah.
can you play that on guitar?
Yeah.
Can you go like and it's like, man, I can't play that fast. But it's just like trying to vocalize those ideas to people that eventually becomes very strong and is always developing, really.
I mean, there's two things. It's like lyrics are kind of easy to try and explain to someone, but
Yeah.
having like a really good sense of rhythm and a really good sense of melody, like being able to sing a part to someone would probably help a lot, as the same as it is to like being able to kind of like understand how someone plays the drums so that they can kind of explain that better.
Exactly. Like, I'm not going to tell you to play like a blast beat in a song.
No.
It'd be fun sometimes. No, it'd be fun, but the kind of drummer I know you are is just, it wouldn't justify a majority of the material that we're writing.
Right.
Not that I'm saying you wouldn't be capable of playing blast beats, but
Probably
that's the thing. That's definitely catering to your strong suits, right, and your strong techniques. So I know if I asked you, it's like, Mike, just like lock in with the bass there, it'll sound really good. It's like, got it. And if you like go to Marin, it's like, dude, just rake out cowboy chords here, and he just like,
I can rake cowboy chords all
and
day
it's like
long.
he's got it. So that's the thing. It's that's the thing. Once again, it's coming around to this thing.
It's like cowboy chords. It's really interesting. We come up with like a language almost. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And like that's the part of like learning how you write together with people, especially in a band setting where everyone has their instruments. It's not just like an acoustic guitar and our voices. It's like we're together in a room with our instruments. And like, how do I tell? You know what I mean? Like your language is like Mike locking with the bass. I understand what that means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you were playing with another drummer, they'd be like, lock in with what? I don't understand.
Or even when I said earlier, it's like play cowboy chords. Like probably
Exactly.
cowboy chords meaning just play open chords,
Yeah.
but we refer to them as cowboy chords.
Exactly. And like as we progress as a band, I think we're gonna like develop that language and have a better understanding, and things will just get easier over time. While we do it, right?
So yeah, we're definitely developing our own vocabulary. That's neat. That's really cool.
Yeah, we've been writing songs for over a year now.
Yeah.
and
The
we have
oldest one is over a year old.
Yes.
we've written like what 15 songs.
Yeah,
15,
and
16 songs.
even more have been pitched.
Yeah.
To be realistic.
And more waiting to be done.
Yeah, we have
and more
so
waiting to
many.
be done. But yeah, we've been writing for a year, and it was really interesting how we started the band. Is that I'm not too sure what day in particular we got together, but when we did get together and we knocked out a song, we said, okay, this can happen with bands. Is that a bunch of people get together and one song comes out of them getting together at first, and they're like, all right, cool, let's do this. We decided to test this group initially, and we said, we're going to try and write 12 songs together.
Mhm.
If we can write those 12 songs, then let's keep going forward. And that's when you kind of know, like, there's a chemistry there. Because that's the thing, I've been in a situation before where, you know, like, one really good song comes out, and then just, you know, things just don't happen after that. So I thought that was a really cool thing when we initially started this band, is that we tested ourselves. We said, we're going to write 12 songs together, see what happens.
I feel our songs they're only getting better.
Yeah, no doubt. No,
I think so.
I totally agree.
It's part of that chemistry and understanding like how to explain how you want a song to come out and being able to compromise too, and like saying like, okay, well, I don't love that, but you know what I mean, you can do it this way, and you know, and it still sounds really good. Or
Yeah.
And I think you look at like some of the like late songs we wrote later on. I feel after each song we write, the progression, we're slowly starting to find our sound, I think.
I think that's
Yeah.
that's your food,
That's
isn't
my
it?
food, boyos.
Food?
Cool.
You get delivery?
This is what it's like to live together. We're just like we're doing something, and then
What do you get
Mario gets
delivered?
food. I don't know. It's
My
fucking
guess, Thai food.
shrouded in mystery, this man.
But yeah, what was I gonna say?
Songwriting.
Yeah, but yeah, Mario said that our songs are getting stronger. I totally agree with that. And that's only bound to happen when you keep writing with people. You
I
know,
think
things
so.
are hopefully every case is different, but hopefully songs are gonna be they're gonna keep being written, and you know, hopefully just things start to get a little stronger. You start to understand how certain things work within a song, things like that. And you know, once again, we're coming full circle again with how to express your ideas with other individuals, and just knowing kind of what works with the people that you're writing with. So
Totally.
yeah,
And that's an interesting concept that you said. Our songs are getting stronger.
yeah.
Do you think that they're ever going to get to a point where like they're not necessarily getting stronger, they're just changing? Because I mean, you listen to
Oh, for sure.
we listen to a lot of bands, right? And they write one like really great album,
Yeah.
and then the album they put out after that, it's like they might think in the band that their songs are getting stronger, but their fans go, this first one was better.
Yeah.
But they also might gain a bunch of new fans who do think it's way better than the
Yeah,
last
because
time.
that could be a whole type thing that when a band's progressively changing, some individuals or some bands, some outfits, they keep writing the same kind of music because they know their fans are going to keep liking that music.
I
You know,
feel like they get stuck in a wormhole.
yeah, you know, and some bands are totally fine with that, and they create successful, established careers doing that. But you know, you can take a band like Thrice,
Mm-hmm.
who, you know, if you listen to their first record,
Doesn't
like
sound-
Identity Crisis, you know, fast punk beats,
Yeah.
and you saw to where they eventually developed, you know, Your Beggars and Alchemy Next and things like that. But what happened with that band is that they progressively kept changing,
Mm-hmm.
and most definitely there was alienation amongst their audience. But once again,
They gain
got new-
fans
they
for the
got new
most part, I
fans.
think.
you would think, yeah, that's the thing. You would think so, right?
They
Because
just-
they were eventually able to create this amazing career and an amazing discography that, you know, a majority of those albums just got so different over time.
I like Brand New as an example for that.
Yeah, Brand New also.
They changed a bunch.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that's the thing. The whole type of idea is that we feel like our songs are getting stronger, but then, you know, like on the other side of the coin, it could be just like
They're just
our musical
changing.
influences are changing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're still finding like our sound.
Yeah.
And then once probably once we do it, that's probably when we're going to start shifting it, and
Yeah.
and then we'll start changing.
Yeah, because so many things are up in the air for our band right now.
Yeah, we don't even know what we sound like.
We
yet.
don't. Right?
Really?
We don't, because we haven't finished.
We haven't finished product.
Yeah. We don't know what our demographic is.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing, and in seeing, you know, like who does our like music resonate with?
Yeah.
And that could totally turn the tides of like what our style's gonna be and things like that. You know, so many different variables right now at our point.
Totally.
In our band, so.
I think mostly our demographic will be people our age. I hope. That's
Metallica
a hope.
fans.
Yeah.
Most of the
Metallica
people who
fans.
are into Metallica, people who have children, probably who own children. Not like
no.
have children, like they own them, like
Yes.
harvesting them.
Fuck you, man.
Oh, but yeah. So yeah, our songs are definitely changing.
It'll be exciting to hear what we sound like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sit down and have a listening party and go, huh, that's what we are.
Huh.
You know
we
what I
should we should rewrite all this.
I'm always very curious to hear.
Well, you can hear it already, or like the bones of it, anyways.
Yeah, I know.
It ended up being a lot heavier than Dan anticipated.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree with it.
Which is cool, but I really like the fact that we can have soft elements. You know what I mean?
I like
We're very
I've
aware.
always liked any band that does well dynamically.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's so important. You know what I mean? I mean, I love a lot of metal bands and things, but I mostly end up loving the metal bands who can come down, who can.
The only metalcore album I ever really got into was Mirrors by Misery Signals,
Yeah.
and that's because they play really, really loud and then really, really quiet.
Yeah,
They're awesome.
Yeah.
that's great.
Well, even, you know, probably not to that extent, but like Protest the Hero, like on Kazai and things like that. You know, they definitely they had loud moments, but then they had these beautiful dual acoustic guitar moments. You know.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
So well written.
With those bands in particular, they've probably, you know, they've established a really great career because they decided to go for those leaps and changes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
This is really interesting, just because part of the reason why I started this blog is just so I could seek myself to figure out like what is the best way to create a successful band. You know what I mean? And there may never be an answer because that answer always changes, right? You always see bands doing these crazy things, having these ideas, and like some marketing scheme or getting a YouTube video to blow up or whatever.
Yeah.
And there might not be an answer, but I'm trying to find some sort of cohesive thing.
How to start a band or how to make the band work?
How to make a band successful. Starting a band is pretty self-explanatory, I think.
Yeah, this thing, like, it definitely happens.
It's hard.
It happens
hard.
differently with some of the people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'll keep this really short, but I remember when I was trying to start, join bands initially, was like when I was 17, and I chose to play bass guitar simply because all the people I knew were either drummers or guitar players. Like, oh, everybody needs a bass player. I'll find a band easy.
Yeah.
I didn't get into my first real band. And I mean, we're, you know, planning on putting out a record, blah, 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 is this band.
Mm-hmm.
And that's many, many years.
And
from
you don't play
when I
bass.
was 17 to now.
Same story, bro.
Right? So,
Like, we were in a band,
Yeah.
if you can call it
we
that.
played 2 shows.
We played 2
Well,
They were
shows.
great.
We wrote some...
Actually, we got a really
okay.
cool reception.
Yeah, we did.
It was
actually.
odd.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Go ahead. I interrupted.
But yeah, it's harder to get yourself into a band than you would think. I tried for forever. I've been playing guitar since I was 16. This is my first real band.
Yeah.
That's so funny that you guys have that experience, because for me it's always been so easy. Like,
Because you're so good looking. Duh.
I know that's weird, right? Like, and I should
What, that you're
count my
good
lucky
looking?
stars,
I don't
but
think
like, as soon as I started playing drums, like I was asked to be in a band. Maybe it's because I'm a drummer. Is that?
That is, but you know what? Also, I have a theory
Yeah.
about me, at least. If I was 1 year younger, I would have been in many bands. The only other musicians in my grade from like 7th all through high school
Yeah.
were like Dan and the Dicks, and they were already in a band always since like they were
Right,
13.
Right.
There was nobody else.
But I'm gonna trump your theory because look at all my friends,
Yeah.
other than Kevin, obviously, but like Dan, I guess Zach. They all. I mean, I guess they all tried to play music.
Mason tried to play music. They all
I
tried.
guess Mason's really good.
I didn't trump you. The
not
trump-
my
Mason
friends
was a great
tried.
bass player, actually. We're not gonna bash anyone just because people are gonna watch. I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not bashing anyone. I just so happened to like continue to play music. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone played.
Once you got in it, you kept in it.
Yes, that's the thing. I think you got to get into a.
Bishop's a sick guitar player.
Actually, Bishop is sick.
I haven't seen that guy. Yet.
That's true.
All your friends were good musicians.
Yeah, you're
I
total-
had
that's
I
a
had
good theory.
none.
That's a good theory.
You had a lot of great friends though.
I had awesome friends. They were all musically retarded.
They all probably had a really good taste though.
Yeah, they did.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's true. I did have
Gotta
a lot
give
of
him a
friends.
thumbs up somewhere.
But once I got into like the band stream, you know, like bands know other bands, so it was just a matter of like going to shows and being like, he's a drummer, and then everyone knows he's a drummer, so that I'm a drummer. So they go like, oh, he just left that band. We need a drummer. Let's get him.
Yeah.
And it was easy. I just kind of like fell into bands. It was like very easy for me. Like my first band was with like Mason. Do you remember Shane Murphy? Do you
Yes.
remember him? Shane Murphy and Dalton George.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember him? And that was really exciting for me. Like I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. No clue being in a band. I just started playing drums. We didn't even know how to play our instruments when we started playing the
Man, I
band.
still have no clue.
Cowboy chords.
But yeah, no, it's funny where it leads you, right? Where
It's strange because that was the biggest thing with me is playing guitar since 16. I definitely always visioned myself if I ever was going to be a band, yeah, I'll just be a guitar player for sure.
yeah.
And then end up being the lead vocalist was like a really weird thing.
And because you never practiced singing, like that was never like aspiration you had. You weren't like, I'm gonna be a singer.
No, I sang to write melodies for the stupid songs that I wrote, and that was it.
Right. That's
Yeah, like I only started to play guitar near the end of college, so I was 23?
Yeah, not long at all.
And that ended up happening because it was to the point where, you know, I was playing bass for so long and it just joining bands was not happening. I was like, I'm going to do this myself. Like, I'm going to start writing my own songs and things like that. And I wrote one song and it did really well, like within my within my school and things like that. That's a whole other story. But that's the thing. Like I didn't really know how to play guitar till like a couple of years ago. That's like I'm still figuring out my instrument.
That's where this band I feel has like a cool balance because you and Dan are both very experienced. And me and Kevin are kind of doing everything for the first time.
Yeah.
And I think both sensibilities kind of
I totally agree with
make
that too.
things work uniquely.
It's good. I think we do have a good balance overall with a lot of things.
Yeah.
That being one of them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing is finding balance. You know what I mean? I've been in a lot of bands where two members of the band do everything and everyone else just kind of like rides the coattails and just hangs out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shows up to band practice when they feel like it and that sort of thing. But like to find, and we were talking about this before, but like just finding a band is hard because finding a band is one thing. Finding people who are dedicated who want to take it seriously is another thing.
Yeah.
You go on Craigslist or Kijiji and you see, I just want to jam.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to find anybody that's like-minded, but I think it's doable. If you want to go out and do it, just do it.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy.
It's do it. But I mean, the advice I would have to anyone who's starting a band is like, and I've said this before, but like find people who are your friends and are like-minded over people who you think are really good at their instrument. Because anyone can get good at their instrument. Like the more, like just like songwriting, just like anything, the more we play together, the more practicing we do, the better we're gonna get.
Anyways, yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't want to pick someone who's shit
And
at their
sometimes,
instrument, but like,
yeah, sometimes the best guitar shredder can't write a simple song
yeah.
worth shit.
Yeah, it's better to learn. I think it's better to learn with someone in general. You know what I mean? you're always having feedback from the other person. You know, and just being in a band just seems more fun overall, just because like you're constantly getting feedback. You're creating things together with someone. You're not like, oh, I wrote this thing. Oh, I have no one to show.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I wrote this thing. I have 3 other people to show it to. I mean, it doesn't have to be a 4-member band, whatever the fuck it is. But I just think being in a band is a cool, or even if you're a solo artist, it's really cool to like songwrite with people.
Yeah.
It's a collective effort.
And you feed and give each other inspiration.
Yeah, no doubt. This thing, I've never really had the experience of, being a solo artist and approaching other people to write songs with.
Yeah.
And this thing, going back to the point where what's really cool being in a band is that you can start showing people material when you essentially only have a chorus and a verse.
Yeah.
And, they start to paint their own ideas of where the song could go and things like that. And usually, when you're a solo artist, people are only going to hear the finished product.
Yeah.
And, at that point, that's really when you can only get the feedback of somebody. It's like, you finish this song, you feel really good about it, and it's like the final product, and you go out and play it, and then somebody's like, that chorus is kind of weird. Or something like that. But, like initially in the stages where you're writing with other people, and you're playing, it's like, dude, that chorus, it's just not working. Like, maybe stop playing it there. You don't have to go into the next part and consider it a chorus. That's expanding on the idea, but that's the thing. That's the cool dynamic of being.
I listen to solo artists a lot of times, and I hear the same song. You know what I mean? Like, I can hear right away, even if it's a band, playing, I can always tell when one person writes all the songs, because you pick up, they have the same melodic ideas, they have the same like pattern ideas for structure of the song, and you hear that over and over and over.
What's really, what really bothers me about, unfortunately, singer-songwriters is the biggest thing that gets me is strumming patterns. It's just something that my ear picks up very easily. There's always this natural strumming pattern that a lot of singer-songwriters go to, and unfortunately sometimes it just drives me bonkers, because it's just like, I've heard that strumming pattern before, you're just going to sing over it, it's going to be the same way for the whole entire song. So with me, I like strumming patterns are always something that I definitely notice when somebody's showing me a demo.
There's some cool ones out there. I feel like ever since the folk revival thing, that chop strumming pattern, it took me a long time to learn. It's pretty difficult.
But that's what's cool about like you as a songwriter, is that you challenge yourself to try and learn something new. Where like somebody who's a singer-songwriter is just gonna be like, I can sing over this pattern. I'm just gonna sing over this one every time.
I think it depends on how good they are.
To that point, like, that strumming pattern is still there because it still works.
Yeah.
For some people in some songs, it obviously caters to like, whatever the song is. And so.
There are exceptions. There are greats out there.
But that's the thing. There's individuals that have decided to like do something
they
different.
push
and
themselves.
You're talking about like this like whole folk revival thing, the chop patterns. That's the thing. Somebody decided to go beyond that one strumming pattern into something different. So, but yeah. So that's like whenever I'm listening to them, it's like that strumming pattern.
Cool. Anyways, I think I don't want to drag this on for too long, because I don't think people are gonna want to watch us talk for that long. So I'm gonna just end it here, because I feel like it's ended naturally here. That's a good topic.
All right. Good night.
Expanded our
world of the web.
Is there any other questions or any last things you want from us? Or
I mean, while you're here, I guess I'll just
favorite colors.
I want to do
Blue.
Have you told him about that?
Oh, I've been telling everybody about the history of blue.
Yeah. I did some research.
I already did the research on the color
research?
blue.
I did.
What'd you find out? Anything cool?
No, I was just like playing around with some ideas of the color blue. So, anyways,
yeah, okay. So I want to do like shoot someone doing a song acoustically. Didn't have enough time to prepare anything for this song, because like obviously I'm gonna interview other artists and things. Do you guys think I should do it at the beginning or
at the
after?
end?
At the end?
Yeah, make people wait.
I don't know if it's better to like grab some
Or you can
attention.
do two and do one at the beginning, one at the end.
Break it in midway through.
Bringing it halfway through.
Break it
Oh,
up
that
with a
might be
song.
interesting. I didn't think of that.
Um,
Cool. I just don't want to. I like the idea of having the chat or the interview to like flow. You know what I mean, and not be edited. Like
Yeah.
I like the idea that it's like very real. Like Mario got food and like went to get the door. Like
right.
people are like, oh, I guess they do live together. They're not just fucking
Yeah.
making this up. This is a real thing. So I don't know, because that was I don't want that would be the only reason I don't want to do it in the middle. But maybe that won't happen.
You said you had some questions.
Oh yeah,
that
I
you were
have
possibly
questions.
gonna ask.
But like I didn't want it to be like an interview, right? I just wanted it to be the interviews were here just in case.
It's
we
a
had stuff.
vodcast, Kevin.
What's a vodcast? I've heard of podcast.
A video
Video
podcast.
podcast.
This might turn into a podcast.
You very easily can because you're just recording audio, right? So-
Yeah, I have the audio, and then and then I'm gonna probably put this on YouTube,
Yeah.
and then from there on my blog. And the other thing, I think you have to get your podcast like approved or something by iTunes.
I'm guessing it runs through iTunes, but I think you can host your own, like through your own website. Honestly, I
Yeah,
don't
it
really
doesn't
know.
matter. Anyways, okay, so that's it. I don't know how to end it. I haven't really figured that shit out yet.
End it with a jingle.
A jingle?
Yeah, let's write a
We'll
jingle.
write a jingle.
You know, it's really cool. I listened to alternative press podcasts, and how he ends his is like a lightning round. And he just asks these like very generic questions to whoever he's interviewing.
And then you gotta do it.
And it's really fun actually. Whenever I'm like out walking to, let's say, like a bus terminal or something like that, I always
Walks to Brantford.
yeah.
32-kilometer walks.
Woo! No, but it's funny because I know some of the questions that he asks majority of the time. I ask them to myself, and it's just like
Okay.
he's like, like what song?
Okay, do it. No, do it to us. Do it. Let's
Yeah?
just do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reverse interview.
Reverse interview. The interviewee.
Which favorite color?
Orange.
Blue.
You don't have to. So the point, you don't have to answer it super fast. You
Oh,
don't
okay.
have to. It's just like these are just like questions, just like
Well, that's an easy one.
yeah. So
Is this a recent thing though? Okay, we'll do that.
if you got to wear one piece of clothing for the rest of your days, without like have to worry about laundry or anything like that, and you could get away with it, what piece of clothing would it be?
This poncho.
That poncho.
Like I was only allowed to wear one piece of clothing.
No. Well, that'd be interesting, but no, it's just like no. That's the thing. It's just like if you like a certain piece of clothing and you could wear it every day, which piece of clothing would it be?
I have this like really comfy. Oh, sweatpants for sure.
Sweatpants.
Sweatpants is a good answer.
Sweatpants
I didn't really
dope.
think about mine.
Are you gonna change it?
Nah.
No.
They're so comfy.
Yeah.
Sweatpants. Next question.
So there's a couple options for this question. This is if you were to, relax somewhere, get your release, just get away from everything. What scenery would you pick? Would it be oceans? Would it be prairies? Would it be mountains? Would it be suburbia? Or would it be desert?
I think the beach.
Beach,
Just the sound
water.
of the waves is the best.
I would want mountains and the ocean, just right there.
Mountains and the ocean.
Cool. I'll accept that. Favorite junk food?
Oh man. Cherry blasters.
Cherry blasters.
Right at the moment, it always changes. I fucking love candy.
Yeah, candy's good. I'll just go with candy since you with candy. Those little watermelon dudes are pretty good.
Oh, those are so good.
Ooh. Sorry, guys.
It's really good.
One
more, and then we'll wrap it up.
What was I gonna say? A lot of the other ones pertain to like the actual material that the artist has out, so I think that's it.
That's fine. I mean, if you made it this far on the blog, now you get to see random questions, and now you get to see Kevin's dick. So.
Okay, Kevin. All right.
So we're 1951.
Yes, so that's important. I guess we'll like sum up the artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
so
do we check us out?
We're 1951. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. The handle's I love 1951, and our Facebook group is facebook.com/I love1951.
And soon we're gonna be putting out a new record
Yes.
because we're in the studio right now. And yeah,
And we got a bunch of shows coming up. Actually, we're playing CMW.
playing CMW. Which
Playing
is sweet.
CMW.
We don't know what date yet.
We don't know what date yet. You'll know once we find out. That's like lots of exciting stuff happening soon.
More announcements to come.
And now my penis.
And rap.
And break.
All right,
Let's go break it.
Let's go break.
Cool, guys. That was fun.